Okay, Chaver, good morning. Let's sing a good niggun. Remember this niggun of the Baal Shem Tov? We used to sing it a lot. We haven't sung it in a few years. I love this niggun. In Chabad they sing it. It's niggun of Baal Shem Tov. Oh man, now I have to remember it. Ding 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 did it ding 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 ay 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 did it ding 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 ay ding 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 ay 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 Ba-da-dum bam ba yam bam ba yam bam bam ba yam bam bam ba-da-dum bam ba ayam bam ba-da-da yam bam ba ay 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 da-da-da ya-da-da ay 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 ba-da-da yam bam ba ay 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 da-da-dum ba-da-dum bam ba-da-da ay 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 da-da-da yam bam ba ay ay. Oh man, how does it go? Did it line 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 line? Did it line 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 line? Did it line 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 line? I line did it line line? Ah oh yeah yeah yeah. Amba yamba ma, but it amba yamba ma. But it amba yamba amba but it amba yamba ya ya da 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 ya da da ay 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 ya da 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 amba yamba amba da 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 bamba ba da da amba da da amba. One more time. Ay 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 ram bam ba ba da da ram bam ba yam bam ba ay 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 am bam ba da ram bam ba da ram bam ba yam bam ba ba da da yam bam ba ba da da ay ay ba da da ay 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 ba da da yam bam ba ay ay ba da da ay ay bam 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 ba da da yam bam ba ay ay ba da ram bam 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 ba ba da ram ba yam bam ba ba da ram bam ba yam bam ba am bam ba da ram ba ay oh ay ba da ram bam 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 ba I'm a ram bam ba yam bam ba I lie da la bam ba da la I bam bam ba da ram bam ba ba da yam bam ba bam ba ba da la I ba da yam bam ba. Yeah. We used to sing this thing. Yeah. We used to sing this thing a lot. We have to sing it again. I love him. Okay, Chavra, we're learning. Here's papers for whoever needs it. We're learning, sponsored month of Kislev by the Silvers, Leilu Nishmas Bas Yefege Bas Yisrael. By the Palestinians, Leilu Nishmas Frida Simen Bas Yitzchak. By our dear Chaver Shulam Elias. Leilu Nishmas Hayeled HaKodesh Yeshua Aaron Tuvia Hashem Yikom Damo Ben David Zusha Shlita. That's the 12-year-old boy who was killed by the Machsom last week. And by the Deutsches in appreciation of all of our holy Chayalim and the hope for a speedy return of our Chatufim. The week, let me just make sure I got this all right. Yeah, the week is sponsored by Ari and Shana Abramowitz and family for the Refuah Shlema of Yisha Yaakov Ben Jen Yetziayna. Okay, open up, Chevra. Huh? What? I'll tell you later. So, Perek Yud Gimel. We're starting a new chapter. We're nearing the end. When I told Rav Ginsburg that we're nearing the end, he already told me what's next. It's like that's like the Rebbe. You come to the Rebbe, right? And like some shliach comes and brings a big veer from his town to the Rebbe for dollars, and the shliach says, Rebbe, this guy just gave $1 million for the new Chabad house, and the Rebbe is just thinking about, and where's the next million? Like, weiter, more. So Eli, you're too far. I don't want to scream. Come closer, please. not in my heart. You just physically you're too far. In my heart, you can't get close enough. It's so I was gonna say it is absolutely incredible that it worked out like this. That we're learning yesod on the parasha of the yesod of Yosef Atzadik, just like Rav Eli said. Now, when we usually, let's face it, when we usually speak about the concept of yesod, what are we always thinking about all the time? Shmiras habris. Is that what you said? Bris milah. Always. It's like, boom. Yesod is much more than just Shmiras habris. Yesod in basic Hebrew means foundation. And this is going to be a change. This is the last two chapters, is Yesod, and then Malchus. Now we're shifting completely from where things have been until now. Up until now in this Sefer, Rav Ginsburg has showed us all the things that are wrong and what needs to be fixed. Yesod and then Malchus is something else. Now it's how great it's going to be when those initial things are all taken care of. How beautiful it's going to be, what we're going to get to do once those things are taken care of. So Yesod, as you see in the head title, is Ichud Torah ve'Hamada, which means bringing together. Usually when you say Torah Hamada, what does that mean? Right. Yeah, you think of Bnei Akiva. Torah Hamada, which means Torah and science, let's say, or what's another word for Mada? You could say science, right? You could say scientist. Now, I just want to remind you all, Rav Ginsburg is a scientist. You know that. Are you okay?
I had my gun in Medina, and now could someone take my gun? Put it right by my chair.
Anywho. I'm sure it's there.
Jeremy here?
Right. I would just say Jeremy. Just call Jeremy. Just locate Jeremy. Exactly. Okay, boys. As you see, Yosef Atzadik, you got it? Okay. How's that for a morning wake-up call? No, it's normal.
The smallest of the guns.
More normal. וגם אני חולם כמו יוסף, גם אותי זרקו לבור. This is the parsha. This is where it's all at. I also dream like Yosef. Yeah, thank you so much for. Sure. That's kiss the table. Can't say that word here.
I did it. Put Jesus.
Maybe in the oven. The Bee Gees, that's fine. Our dreams, like Yosef Atzadik, chalom, our dream, matchil lidgashem. When the dream starts to become something that's mamash. And this is an exciting thing. As I was saying before, as you know, the Rav Ginsburg is a mind-boggling ga'on oilam, a genius beyond any proportion, not just in the world of Torah, but he's a mathematician, and he's a scientist, and he's probably a chemist and a physicist, and all these other things as well. It's really, I was just reading the other day, he had to go give a speech somewhere about, what was the topic? It was something in the sciences, I forget what it was. So he just, he spent like 5 days, he read like 23 books on whatever the topic was, and then he gave the most incredible speech about something with cells. I don't know what it was. Things that I would go shluff, even while I'm talking about it, I feel like I want to go take a shluff. Anyway, the unification of Torah Umada, Yesod. Let's see how he explains to us the midda of Yesod right now. Pnimius spheras Yesod hi midda emes. Just like we've looked at every midda, the pnimius of it is not necessarily what it looks like on the outside. Like what did we say the pnimius of the midda of Gevura is? Chesed, remember? The pnimius of Gevura is Chesed. The pnimius of the midda of Yesod is emes. Hen emes b'muvana mauti, והן בכוח לאמת ולהגשים ולקיים את הבטחותינו, הדברים שאנו בטוחים בהם, ואת יעדינו במציאות. Not just emes as a contextual concept, truth, but also the strength le'amet. Le'amet means to take truth, and it's like to verbalize it. How would you say le'amet? To authenticate. Let's take that word for now. And to actually do to keep all the promises that we're sure of, and to get to our destination in reality for real. This is the midda of Yesod. HaYesod hu yecholet ha'agshama ha'atzmit. Yesod is the possibility of self-fulfillment. מימוש הכישרונות הנתונים לנו מאת השם, to be able to, the realization of all of our actual kishronot, for real, from Hashem. שהיא היסוד המוצק והיציב של האישיות כולה, which is basically the most solid and stable foundation of all of humanity. I'm going to try to say this outside for a second. Do you know how many things we're made out of that we don't actually actualize? Like right now, just think of ourselves in our lives. There's so many things about us that don't really come into fruition. They don't become, I don't know, unrealized potential, filled with it all the time, filled with unrealized potential. The midda of the yesod is the ability to be connected to the emes of who you are and draw out all your potential and make it a mitzias, and make it a reality. You know, they always say, how much percentage of our brain do the human being actually use generally?
Less than 6.
It's usually, I think, 4 to 5%. I've read 4 to 5%. And what we're always trying to draw out is like an actualization of it, and to make it a mimush, to make a realization of all the gifts that we have. I think like a Rebbe, like a real tzaddik, like that's what he does to you. Like he schleps out of you who you really are, and gives you the kelim to actually be you, to actually be yourself. Nekudat hapticha shel matzah zo, so the beginning of this platform of the midda of emes, of yesod, hayta bechalomot shvurim upsharam. It began with broken dreams and trying to solve them. That was the beginning of this sefer. Ulam ka'et anu megi'im lenekuda sheba matchilim resisei hachalomot litlaked. But now, we've reached a place in this midda of yesod, chapter 13. We're coming to the nekuda where like shards of dreams begin to come litlaked, to unite and unify and start to come together. That only happens though after we, chesed, gvura, tiferet, netzach, hod. After all those things we have to take care of, now it comes like this and we start to come together. Like, think about it in your lives. Did you ever have a shlav in your life when you realized that a bunch of your dreams, like pieces of all different dreams that you had for yourself, kind of started to like come together and they're becoming a reality? Did anyone ever have that?
Yeah.
So I want to just give a bracha to all those that haven't had it yet, because plenty have never had that yet. So I just want to say a bracha to many of those that haven't. Rav Ginsburg speaking about Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael, we are living in a time where shards of our dreams, pieces of our dreams of thousands of years, are finding its way back together again, and they're uniting. But it takes a lot of time in order for it to actually unite. It takes a long time.
Is he being poetic about the dreams?
No. He's being, I think, very like as non-poetic as possible. Like literally, a dream. What's the greatest dream?
Should be one.
What? Echad, yichud b'diuk, the greatest dream in the world. It sounds poetic, but it's not. I think it's really lamaisa over here. So he's going to explain what the difference is that we're taking in this sefer now. Ad ko, until now, third paragraph, kuvnu ma'alachei hatikun klepi ha'ivutim, bahem negua Medinat Yisrael bifrat va'olam ha'yehudi bichlal. Says up until now, all mahalach, anything you're speaking about tikkun, was identifying things that were completely distorted, both in the concept called Medinat Yisrael and the Jewish people. Ivutim means distortion. Me'uvat, something's distorted. That's what it was until now. But that's not, see, a lot of chevra, I always say this, a lot of chevra, when they're looking for a shidduch, they have this like weird simcha when they go out on a date and they go on date and date, girl after girl, and they puzzle all the girls that they go out with, and they're actually besimcha about it. Why? Because by them it's like this inyan of like finding distortions and like saying, I identified it, it's puzzle, not for me. Well, mazel tov, but are you? What about what is for you? Like, have you come to that yet? So there's no chokhmah in being able to puzzle things. Like sometimes people come to shuls and get involved in shuls just to point out all the things that are wrong. That happens all the time. And they think that that's actually like helpful. And it's actually speaking about a nekuda in their life that's really lacking and missing. Sometimes you have chevra, they come, they may notice things that need tikkun, but they're much more excited about actually fulfilling the dreams.
Collecting the balcony.
Oh, that's like the biggest simcha in the world. Chevra wait all week. Hachanas in the mikveh, they're just thinking, Ibn Shlomo, may I find that Revi that he says.
word.
That's
Young kid, you can really crush him.
oh, kill him.
Usually the guys
Kill
are
it.
talking through davening, but then here's a Torah, gotta find a
Shh.
mistake.
They're laning now. What do you mean laning? You were davening.
How can I
No,
hear
but how could I hear
mistakes?
right? It's like if the sefer would have ended here, we would have been like the chavra that go to shul to try to find the Baal Koyer. You're right, like make a mistake. But we're trying to not just point out mistakes. We're trying to say, like, wait a second. The zchut of being here in Eretz Yisrael and building a Medina is a dream. And yes, there are a lot of distortions and things that are polluted. Great. Do you want to be from the kvetches or do you want to be from the doers? And that's that a chassid is not busy just making sure that he notices and detects all the things that are off. A chassid is looking for light. He's looking for light. And he wants to make a big deal out of light. That's what a chassid's busy doing. And it's so easy to get trapped in the first part. You know why? Because the things that are distorted are mamish distorted. We're not belittling it. Like that kriya of the Baal Koreh, it's true. This guy is off his rocker. But do you know what the emes is? Maybe the kriya at the Torah could be amazing if he knew that you weren't looking for his mistakes all the time. I'm going to tell you guys a crazy story. Yeah. No, say
It may
it.
have been the story about this.
Which one?
I don't know. I was thinking about recently, like years ago, there was a Baal Koreh, and he like butchered everything. I'm talking like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was like, he had somebody with, if you knew what he
Yeah.
was going through.
Oh, yeah. That was, I mean, the truth
It was
is,
a small mini.
no,
About
Yishai,
recently, and I can't.
Yishai, do you still daven in Chabad?
Sure.
Okay. I don't know, I'm just going to say, this is a holy story. Yeah.
So I literally just thought about this like yesterday.
This is a holy story. This is,
That's why I'm-
Imamish, yesterday you thought
I
about this?
literally thought about this. Like, do you remember that? But
When we first moved here, we lived in Dekel, in Rehov Koresh, in the basement apartment there. And we lived there for like, I don't know, 2.5 years. I was neighbors with this new guy that just came off the boat from Cleveland, Stephen Rosen. Itamar Rosen was my neighbor. We were just, he only had like 6 kids back then. It was like, you know, I don't know. I met Yossi about a year later, I think, or maybe that year. I don't know. Maybe even that time. It was when we were meeting each other. And I loved Chabad. I loved going to Chabad. It was pretty close to me, to where I was living. And I loved just sitting in the back with the sefer and just doing my own thing. It was geschmack. There was only one thing that drove me nuts. I couldn't understand. The Baal Koreh, he mamish stunk. Now, I'm not saying like he messed up. It was almost like an avodah for him to even try to do it right. I couldn't understand. And he laned every Shabbos. And then one Shabbos, I asked one of the Gabbayim, I was like, who is this guy? He's like, oh, he actually walks from the Rimon every Shabbos to come and lane. Thinking, you whack jobs, are you guys crazy? Like, can't you find like, you get a Baal Koreh that walks from the other side of town to not lane? Like, no one else can lane here? Or no one else can not lane? Mainly a guy that, lives upstairs here, he'll be the Baal Koreh. This happened every single Shabbos. Now, Yeshua, I think I recorded this, right? I put this on an album, this story, didn't I?
What did they say?
I think so. It was so weird to me. Then, one time I got Kohen. And then I looked at him while he started laning, and I could see his eyes, and they started getting watery. Then I'm thinking, he's getting mitragesh over his non-laning. This is ridiculous. Then the guy showed up at my doorstep one day to come and sell me, he sold me organic eggs, I think, or orange juice or something. I started talking to him, and I asked him what his name is, and he told me his name, and then I put 2 and 2 together. Basically, he's the father of a chayal that was killed here in Efrat. That Sefer Torah was written in memory of his son. So it's like a deep Hasidic tale, because be'etzam, no laning that could be perfect. There's no higher laning in the world, than that guy. That guy's laning. You bring me anybody here. Sorry, A.B. Miller, Sam Miller, Glum Shaneh, as perfect as your laning is. And my last, you should never have to put through the test Khalila of laning like this. And it was basically, he walked 40 minutes every Shabbos to be able to read out of the Torah a memory of his son. Now, why am I saying this story now? Because that's the story of the first 75 years of Am Yisrael and Eretz Yisrael in this common era. We've made so many mistakes because we are drenched in the blood of our beloved brothers and sisters that have fallen. So it's not going to sound like the perfect Kriyas HaTorah, but it's the highest Kriyas HaTorah in the world. But now, after this Tkufa, we realize we can't bank on that type of Kriyas HaTorah. Now we have to learn the Torah properly. Now it's something else. Now it has to come to the place of yesod. You understand what I'm saying? Now we have to go to this place, move to this place of not just pointing out things that are wrong, but banking and working on things that are right. So again, third paragraph, and he's going to bring a Gevaldig Rambam right now. Ad ko kuvnu ma'alachei hatikun klapei ha'ivutim bahem negua Medinas Yisrael bifrat ve'olam ha'yodi bichlal. Ach, kmo shekasav Rambam, but the Rambam writes, Lo nis'avu ha'chachamim va'neviim le'imos ha'mashiach lo kedei she'ishletu al kol ha'olam. You think our dream of Mashiach coming is that we can control and conquer the whole world? No. Ela, kedei she'yu pnuim b'torah v'chokhmata. But so that we could finally be free of all that shtuyot, all that hatred and hunting, so that we could actually sit and be panui in learning Torah and delve in its wisdom. V'lo yeh noges u'mevatel. There won't be an oppression. There won't be any oppressors over us. Kedei she'yizku l'chayei olam haba, so that we can merit the world to come. Our inyan of the tikkun that we're speaking about here is not to be those that show, at the end of the day, I control you, Islamic world or Christian world or anything but Jewish world. That's not the Jewish concept. You see, you have that a lot in Christianity. The whole inyan is to get everyone to be like them. And you also have this in Islam. In today's day and age, it's much more bolet than what it was back in the day. Back in the day, Christianity held that flag of we're going to conquer you. Today, it's less like that, and if it is, it's more shtilahate. It's more quiet. Today, the flag of I'm going to conquer you and you're going to be like me is the flag of Islam. A yid never doesn't operate like that. That's not his aspiration. When we're davening for Mashiach to come, we're davening so we could finally dwell in the light of Torah without any balaganim and bilbulim. Tachlit hakol, the purpose of everything, Rav Ginsburg continues, hi hamenucha haba lebasof, is the rest that will come at the end. Ksheniyeh betuchim v'chofshiyim, and we'll be secure and free. V'nuchal lematzot et kishronotenu ha'elokim, and we could actually then, lematzot, Yishai? Lematzot, to actualize, probably actualize our godly talents in order to fulfill the dream of our life. This is why we're here. The dream of our life is not in New York. It's not in LA. It's not in Chicago. It's not in Venezuela. The dream of our life is only here. That's the dream of the life of Am Yisrael. It's here. It's not in Melbourne. It's just here. Here is where we have our kishronot elokim, our godly talents become actualized and materialized. What's the dream of every yid? So here he's bringing Tanya. Chalomo hapnimi biyoter shel kol yehudi hu la'asot dira l'Hashem yitbarach b'zeh olam mamish. The inner dream of every Jew is to make a dira l'Hashem, is to make a dwelling for God here in this world mamash. Perush hadavar, what does this mean? Legalot et metziuto shel Hashem b'chol gvanei ha'chaim. That means is to discover Hashem in every shade and color of life. In sports, in technology, in art. Rav Kook was big on this. This is like Rav Kook's whole mahalach. This is why they hated him, because they couldn't chap how he could be like supporting a school like the Betzalel School of Arts. Because to him it's if God is God, God can be found in everything. That's the dream. Rav Ginsburg says in our hearts, we don't want to keep on feeling guilty about our interests in other things in the world. We want to find the holiness in it. And that's what we're trying to do here right now. But until we remove all the poison we spoke about until now, it's going to be impossible to really dwell in that place of just finding Hashem in all these other areas of life. Ubeikar, and mainly to find God, or to create a dwelling place for God, betoch hayesodot hara'ayoniyim v'ta'abutiyim aleim im nishanim. And literally, he's saying, mainly in the fundamental principles, in the ideas and cultures upon which all these arts and sciences lean on. In order for this to happen, l'shem kach, zivug, I love how he uses this word, zivug chokhma satorah, im ha-chokhma ha-klalis, a zivug, like soulmates, but like a merge, a unity, a unification between the chokhmah of the Torah and general wisdom, hu shlav machriya, it's a crucial stage, baderech la'atido ha-meshichi shel ha'olam, towards the future of Mashiach in this world.
It's a chaim, it's a das.
It's a total tikkun.
Unification.
Mamash, chadash yameinu.
You sort of see that today with like music.
Totally. Whereas, it used to be in the former world, you can't, but it's nigunim, it's word, no. And today, it's amazing. The pioneers today in the Israeli scene, and we're all influenced by them, are people that have brought this chokhmah. To write the kind of music that these chaver that have become big today are writing, it's a chokhmah. You realize that, like, to write like the songs that like Yishai Ribo writes today, this is a chokhmah that 10, 20, 30 years ago, if he would have tried to do this in the name of Hashem and Torah, the guy would have been shunned completely. And he still is to a certain extent in certain circles. Hanan is an amazing example. Yeah.
One of my favorite lines in all of Hanan's songs is Magia Shabbat, Magish Kmo Rashbi, Motzei Shabbat, Kmo Shabtai Tzvi.
He speaks the truth. He
He's
speaks
saying-
the emet.
He
speaks
has,
from the heart.
He has the MSBs also.
Oh, he has the MSBs.
Right.
Big time. We all do, but he
Shabbat,
definitely does. Yeah.
Shabbat, he feels it. He feels like Rashbi.
Right.
The second it's over,
Right.
Shabtai Tzvi.
Nachon.
Motzei Shabbat blues.
MSBs, Moshe Shabbos Blues.
I think it's not
Brutal.
just music. I see it also
Yeah.
very clearly in neighborhoods. Especially there's like ultra orthodox and there's like non-religious, like the hybrid neighborhoods where you have half the black is like that's a song as well. There's really beautiful some of these neighborhoods. Times of Mashiach, imagine if like half the black was from and half wasn't, they all got along. That's Mashiach energy that we see as well.
The merging of you think you're looking at that as the merging, the zivug.
The Zivug.
Yeah. Only the Brit keeps his hand up in order to talk. You realize that no one else. It's amazing. Yes, proper.
What I got a lot from Gunish, the Torahs that they give out from Ginsburg, and it was important.
But the wonders.
The wonders. And last Shabbos, Pashas Vayishlach, over there before this has a shtickle on the Rebbe, it was ended off a very important point about the yichud between science and Torah, that the key to this whole sugya is that there is distinction, meaning that you have harmony between the two different worlds of Torah and science. There's a mutual respect, there's a distinction between the two, and that distinction is able to then be miach, then you're able to come to the yichud. The way
That's very important what you're saying, because the Hakdama means don't libelbel, don't confuse. They are two separate things, but they can complement each other.
Yaakov spoke about
we
it.
see
Yaakov
with
spoke
the
on Shabbos,
right
very good.
We see this issue as well,
Yeah.
that there's too much of a push either to really very overly
Yeah.
distinguish,
Yeah,
like I'm Torah ad asaf,
right.
Or creationism.
Or science of this,
or
yeah.
the other way around, to just water
Mix it
it all
together.
down and just make a mishmosh, and then you don't really get a yichud. It's like the same thing between man. I mean, we never used to have this before, this concept, but man and woman being distinguishing that I'm a man and she's a woman, and we're soulmates, but not we're like this fluid relationship nonsense.
Yeah.
And
It's a big
that's,
tikkun.
it's just making sure the distinctions are clear.
In order
So then
to then be diuk. in order for a zivug, bidiyuk. Meaning, if there's no distinction, then what do you need? Then what's the avoda of zivug? Like, what's the avoda? Very good. Very good. That's very chazak. You know, I said, I want to stop here, but I want to tell you guys one thing I said under Yudis Malarchik's chuppah, because it struck me really deep. It's a Torah I said once on Tisha B'Av. I heard it from Rav Shlomo. He said this in the summer of 1976. It's like amazing. One of the greatest collections we have is like 4 or 5 weeks of the deepest teachings that he gave in Rechavia. Summer of 76. Like tons of nigunim came down, and the deepest Torahs.
Where is that?
Huh?
Where is it? Is it collected in some way?
Yeah, I can give it to you, sure. It's unbelievable. Huh?
It's not its own CD or anything?
No. This is like one of these archives, one of these private archives. Tons of hours of him teaching over there. And he said a Torah there that was so deep that it's really this. You know, and it's the month of Av, and in Chodesh Av, we're trying to rebuild and everything. What brought to the downfall of the world? The fact that the Chochmah of the Torah and the Chochmah Klalis don't come together. And he said like this. I said it by Smolarchik, because by him it's Zivug Sheni, and for her it was Zivug Rishon. So for him it was Beis, and for her it was Aleph, right? Av. So Rav Shlomo said like this. What's the first letter of the Torah, which is like of the world? Bet. What's the first letter of Torah? Aleph. Anochi Hashem Asayas Adibras. Aleph. But the pain of the world is that Aleph and Bet don't get together. People say you're either Bet or you're Aleph, but it doesn't stem. So Chodesh Menachem Av, we console Abba by saying that they both stem together. So I said to him a Gevalt, I said, listen, you're Beis, she's Aleph, you know, get it together. Get it together. Menachem Av. Like, it's your second zivug. It says your first zivug, like, Yalla, M'chodim Menachem Av. But this is really, like, this is this, you know, the ichud of these two worlds. And I think it speaks to all of us because we're all in we're all in the world.
I was thinking this whole Torah, the daf in relation to Shalom Lines. Like, because very often, I try to teach this Torah all the time. It doesn't go so well. They don't teach it so well. Here's how it goes. I walk in, and I hear everything seemingly that's wrong. Okay, this is good, and this is wrong, and the house is, and there's just like everything that's wrong. And so sometimes I'll stop. I'm like, okay. I said, you know, we all know everything that's wrong. Is there anything that's right? It's not the right time to say it.
Right.
I'm here in moments, but like I can't help myself. But this is really like, I guess maybe the Torah. Like there has to be some distinctions on it, and there has to be like a merging of the two. It's evil.
We're all like no.
Plenty of distinctions.
Listen, those of us that are silent, I speak on behalf of everyone. Identifies with that Metzias. Yeah. By the way, don't try that on your spouse. Meaning, don't like actively, like in your mind, you can do that. And
it works with the kids,
but
though.
like with kids, yeah. Ah, okay. Yeah, not so much with the Viber.
Well,
no,
I'm not gonna comment on
that because everything is fine. Everything.
Sure.
Anyway, we should. This is the midda of yesod. Okay, this is the heart of the midda of yesod, and Be'ezer Hashem will continue this next week on Monday. Wednesday, we're doing more Chassidus on Hanukkah. Okay, shkoyach everybody.